Occultists Anonymous and our Into the West Mage Chronicle episode 55. I haven't done that in a long time, but all of a sudden it just hit me. Oh yeah, tell them what episode they're on, because they don't know what it is because they just clicked on the... Anyways, thank you for supporting us, even through all our trials and tribulations and ridiculousness. As always, thank you to our followers, subscribers, sharers, and our patrons who support us monetarily. Thank you to Adele, Alis, Aiden, Al, Alexander, Ulcerit, Bernie, Buck, Chris, Doc, Emil, Ethan, Jeff, George, I'm the Real 06, James, Camo, Catfeathers, Klaus, Live Love Lesbian, Milo V3, Moku, Mozart D Minor, Nexus, Lax, Nick, other guy, Perry, Foog, Polka Dot, Hubris, Porter, Puppeteer, Riafio, Sean, Shexara, Starfish, Terran, Terry D, the Mastigos Queen, Thomas, Verhext, Vincent, Vortex Falcon, and Zoltan. I was totally like, I'm gonna just charge through this, and then Nexus was in here.
New
and
names.
I forgot. And I was like,
New names.
Stumble.
New bars.
Yep. Thank you all for supporting us. It means a lot. When we last left the Cabal, they were in a emanation realm called the Maelstrom of tempestuous forces. And then they found a stable little fort made out of clouds. Not quite made cotton candy clouds, but, you know, chunky slabs of storm cloud. Inside is a Persian mystic. Not quite sure, but he definitely has some age on him, called Ahibahu, who has offered them a little bit of shelter, a place to rest their wings, which currently are still going. And the classic exchange of information, question for a question. When we last left, he had left. Sort of. Stepping into a kitchen, larder, some kind of room. I bring this up specifically because in character you have a moment of, I mean, obviously you can talk telepathically amongst yourselves, but as Chris mentioned, sometimes you just got to talk stuff out. So you have a moment of a little bit of privacy, or one could assume privacy. If y'all want to speak amongst yourselves, make any plans, whether in character or out of character, while Ahibahu seems to be preparing a small repast.
Well, thoughts so far?
It's an interesting place.
Like him. He's weird in all the nicest ways.
Yeah.
I don't know that. Yeah, and I don't think he's the sort of person I would like, just because he is so very isolated at this point from being a person.
My thoughts exactly.
But he is an interesting person to have met.
Yeah, despite his isolation and his apparent detachment, he still offered us, or not offered us, but accepted a request for hospitality.
Absolutely.
He had no reason to do so. There's something redeeming about his character, at least.
I mean, curiosity.
I mean, not making a character judgment on it. I'm just saying I don't know that he is on the same level of person as we are at this point.
No.
I think he is who and what he is, and an interesting person to have run across.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the trappings of hospitality are more important to him than the relationship.
Mm. His existence makes me glad that have you all to share my magic with.
Mm. There was a certain stability in the ritual of hospitality. I have to ask, because it was such a strong reaction, but you really don't like death, Max. Is that an accurate statement? You
No.
seemed really freaked out by meeting that lovely individual.
No, I think that I don't care about death. That being is the bearer of something truly horrible. And I sincerely hope that I never live to see it.
That's true.
He
Theodosia
might be-
has no forces whatsoever. So
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't think necessarily a bearer, but a reaction to.
No,
No,
no.
you think they're going to bring about whatever progress is intended for, or do they
I think
exist
it-
because progress is going to happen anyway?
That it is because that will be.
Sentences you can only say in Mage, and it completely makes sense.
Mage and Brandon Sanderson books. I mean, there are certain understandings of human history in that every advancement is based on better ways to kill and maim each other, but
I won't say not every, but many can be turned to that purpose.
I said it was a possible take.
Is your, I want to say Storm Dog, but that may not be right. Is your Time Dog still with us here?
No,
Okay.
no. I mean, was he manifested?
Mm.
No. Oh yeah, we left him when we jumped off the cloud.
Would we be able to see it if it was with us in here?
Yes.
Because yeah.
So you've seen some other spirits, beasts and atavisms that have been about. You saw the literal storm dogs, puppies jumping around. Those were definitely life and forces.
So I know that we, in here somewhere, we're going to find what we're looking for. Do we have any clues or hints, or can you do a forces radar?
Yeah, and blind myself.
Well,
What? Cloak says, "What is radar?"
as like a supernal ping to see.
I just assumed you said it in high speech. And the
Yeah,
comment
that's true.
across. Yes, I could do that, and I would find everything that we see around us.
That would probably make put a big target on us as well, right?
I mean,
It's
the
hard
big
to see
thing is the AoE that you all are capable of, right? Is a campus, which as you've been flying, you're campus, you know, you're soaring past all that. So
Yeah.
that I think is an appropriate time for Ahibahu to return, carrying a similar matching tray that he brought the teacups down in, kind of adjusting that to the side, setting this down, and what looks like, we'll say elemental sushi. These solidified bits of some of the stuff that you have seen. There are these, like, we'll say tea cakes of storm clouds with little bits of lightning literally dancing around inside of them. There's what looks like maybe even like a flan or a gelatin of fire, not magma, but fire. They look solidified, like your hand, he, kind of passes them out, to everybody, a little tasting of everything. And, the fire does not appear to be hot, warm. The storm cloud touching that feels room temperature. And all of it looks like, it's been kind of, we'll say, like, dished up from a larger batch somewhere and, placed in stuff. So you even have like a little bit of mess on the rim of a bowl and stuff like that. So it's just this very, like, mundane meets the absolutely arcane, and this very, very odd kind of crossover that feels, both homey and exotic. And he kind of sets it down with like the big, like you have seen him like kind of more reserved. He's had these, small smiles and stuff, but this is, that big pride moment of, setting things down, and kind of offering out everything to everyone, and says, please enjoy. This is how I have sustained myself here. You might say that this is the local cuisine, he says with a large smile, and kind of, and then, takes his own little, I don't know how you'd put it out, I guess little plate of his own little things, and sits down, and, little dainty forks and spoons. It's very much like, maybe akin to like a British tea, right, or something like that. Lots of little things.
I want to pick up a lightning cake and just look at it with life sight. Because this is fascinating to me.
That's true. Yeah. Because it definitely falls into that funny category of both life and matter. And in your case, forces. So yes, this appears to be a living storm cloud, and it definitely has lightning in it. But there's more to it than just that. Like, you could definitely be like, you cannot play Helena, but this is definitely one of those things that most mages would go, I'm a focused mage like this. This thing is wild, right?
Yeah, I was trying to see, like, does it have nutritional value?
Yes, it appears to have nutritional value. If you ate it, you would definitely like restore sustenance. You would get calories, kind of thing. You'd probably pick up some weird vitamins. And I will tell you, those of you with Prime Sight, because, especially, for Helena, because you can activate it for free. Looking at this, there is something magical mana-ish about this as well that feels very familiar.
Yeah, I figured there'd be mana baked into it. Theo's going to reward the obvious pride that he's showing and the stuff that he's created by, like, excitedly taking one of everything. These look amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, these are fascinating. I want to look at them and also eat them.
This is a scarf one immediately.
Yeah, I was saying, you can take, like, he demonstrates taking a. It's like you can take a bite, enjoy the taste of it, and still, you can do both.
When Theo enthusiastically expresses her praise, does she do that as Theo, or does she do that as Baba Sarah? Because I had a funny image of her corpse dusted, leaning over crone style. These are great.
Yeah, she's definitely in Baba Sarah mode here.
Yeah.
All right, wonderful.
Big buzzard wings and behind her and stuff.
Yeah,
black feather floating down.
Yeah, I recall it was before. I just wanted to make sure she wasn't reverting to Theo's sense of hospitality, and I do get to enjoy that mental image of her communicating that way.
This is wonderful.
Yes,
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you. Yes. All right.
So fingers picking up a little train.
Yes. Wonderful. All right.
If any of you are missing mana, you can restore it, more or less.
Wonderful.
Back up to full, because every bite seems about a point of mana.
It says.
And as you know,
like, you know what Legba says, kind of deadpanned. He takes a bite. He says, "This tastes fantastic."
Can you pun in high speech?
Yes. Absolutely.
Can you though? Because I feel like high speech doesn't have double meanings.
No, because you can do expression. Expression is not a chance die. Yep. So kind of, applying multiple meanings. It probably like puns in high speech are probably like double value, both in cringe and applause.
I guess it would be harder to construct.
Right. Yeah. You have to really think about it.
Having it
so everybody kind of, enjoys, that quiet moment where like all of a sudden, ooh, the food tastes good, and the conversation just stops, and it's just the quiet sound of eating. And yeah, these are some wild flavors. The storm cloud. There's no good way to put this. It tastes like petrichor. Uh, so you have that rain. There's that little bit of ozone that kind of kicks up. There is like the almost pop rocks sensation of something happening in your mouth. The flame gelato gelatin stuff is warming, and it's not spicy, because spicy isn't a thing for this, but it has that same kind of warming sensation. Like, immediately you guys recognize, like, oh yes, somebody could absolutely just delve into forces as matter and life, right? And yeah, you can definitely see where that could come from. I will also tell, beyond just the one bite-sized mana, if any of you finish your meal, you also have +2 on spell casting, just as a bonus.
Wow.
For the next like 24 hours, until it kind of gets out of your system. That is not a yantra or anything like that. It's more equivalent to like a willpower point. Excuse me. So yeah, it is definitely one of those like, okay, how do we get this back home kind of situations, which as players, I think you all are well aware, yeah, you're probably not going to be able to get this at home. You can try and match that recipe, but it just won't be the same, but yes, he sits with you, and like the pride grows, larger as everybody eats. I imagine everybody's finishing their meal, clean plate club kind of thing. And then he rests back, kind of collects all the plates back onto the trays, waves off any attempt for anybody to help clean up, and then sits back, and I have forgotten, whose question was it? Oh, that was mine.
I think we can give him a pass on that one.
I have a question. How long did it take for you to learn to create? No, to learn to make the weather edible.
Time is a funny thing here. It was between. You can see him trying to work out like milestones, right? And he was like, sometime between when the Romans were ruling, and between and sometime after Byzantium became a thing. Somewhere in there.
That's quite a while ago, my friend.
I had to learn quickly. The trips from here back are a bit of an ordeal, as you have seen.
Sure.
I await your volley in return.
Yeah, I think he turns back and says, Helena has already agreed to helping summon an angel. While you are exploring and looking for this entity of time, would you all perhaps help me engage in a bit of exploration or experimentation? It's like, not, he's kind of cheating the thing, he's not actually asking a question about information, but more of a favor.
This, and then Cloak, getting the game, says that your words suggest that we might see something that aids you in what interests you. Makes me suspect that we have some aptitudes you lack.
You have new eyes And as
You can't have them.
yeah, not talking to the Fae, Chris.
Jeepers creepers.
Yep.
Where'd you get those peepers?
But no, he kind of motions out towards the windows and says, "You may have noticed that many of those who I used to speak with and talk with have become uncomfortable in this area. I think the nature of," and he like stamps a couple times on the stones, right? The nature of matter from the material plane, and the fact that this place is stable and solid, I think disturbs them. They don't seem offended, and many of them are willing to speak with me, but they do not come around this area anymore. And venturing out beyond this place alone has many risks. There are many accidents that could happen, but a group moving together would have a better chance at it.
I could allow you to watch what we do.
That, if you are willing to share, is very wonderful, but I also imagine that you may wish to return here in a day after you're searching and have another place to rest. I know of, and he very clearly in high speech says, I know of no other place to safely rest than here. He says, and he holds his hand up before any of you answer. He says, more formally, in exchange for ongoing hospitality and a place to stay, if you all will report back on what you see and make an errand or two to see or experiment with some things that are beyond my ease, I think would be my offer.
Seems fair.
Yeah, I concur.
I accept this offer.
I'm just nodding to the rest of you because I'm already helping him, and I don't think anything I can do isn't something he can do.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, he's an Abrimos, so you're like, yeah, we're probably on the same thing. The only thing I'm doing that's not an Abrimos thing is this one dot of life I've got.
Yep. So like.
Yep. So he nods, and like immediately, like there's this relaxed thing. Like he's been careful. He like it feels weird to ask for this, especially since we just met. But call me crazy. Do some science experiments for me. Magic experiments, occult experiments. That's the So that kind of gives him this little bit of a boost of energy, and kind of moves to collect up empty cups and plates and stuff like that, and says, do you all, I do not know how long you've been here, do you all wish to rest for the, well, we don't quite have a night, and I don't keep track, I just sleep when I am tired. Do you wish to rest now, or will you return back to the clouds?
I believe we've been traveling long today, and our wings are tired.
Seeing some head nods. Sounds like, okay. So he nods. Very well. And turns to Theodosia. I may now require your assistance in furniture.
I'm more than happy to provide it.
Because I have a bedroom. No offense to all of you, but I would prefer at least some of my space to remain private.
Of course.
So, and then gestures to the existing furniture and says, you are welcome to convert this as necessary into your preferred sleeping arrangements. And then nods to Helena and Theodosia and says, I can also... Wait, nope, hang on. Theodosia... Wait, yeah, so everybody except for Cloak. I am just now realizing that we have one guy, three gals. How long have we had that? Okay. Yeah. So
Whole time.
yeah.
Day
The whole,
one.
yeah.
The whole time?
The whole time. Yes.
You
It
see
was
that
just like, wait a
initial arc,
second.
yeah?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So basically looks to to Legba and says, I can give you space upstairs so that the ladies can have a separate space if that is, and he pauses, culturally appropriate. Things have
Matters.
changed over the
He
years.
nods and he says, it matters less for me from my background, but I would, of course, defer to their preference.
I mean, you slept in the same room before. I don't think it should be a problem.
It is culturally appropriate, but I don't think we care.
No. Then make yourselves at home. And he kind of takes his plates.
Oh,
and,
you know what else? Then he says in high speech, he says, sleeping next to each other is a trivial kind of intimacy compared to what we've shared in this coven.
That's true. That's true. And Ahibahu nodded. Yes. Not. Nope. That's a loaded question. Not touching it.
That's why I phrase it that way.
Right on my side.
I know. Of course, in Cloak's mind, he's like, telepathy is
Right,
I'm going in
telepathy,
somebody's Oneros.
Oneros, yeah.
Everything else is, just the flesh, right? Like,
Yep.
not that it's not important, but if you go inside somebody's mind, right? Like, how can you be any more intimate?
So Ahibahu collects up his things, moves into the little larder space. There's jugs of water that you can kind of see him washing and cleaning some things up. Things that would be pretty trivial with even just a couple dots of like matter, but is doing by hand. Leads you all to kind of do your thing. And then he kind of like gives you your space, kind of like the hotel staff has, they delivered the room service, they collect it all up, and it's like, I'm not seeing what y'all are doing, you guys can do your thing. And retreats up to that upper level that seems more of a an office study kind of space.
Is a loft.
Yeah. And then after a little bit more, returns back kind of looking down and announces, I will give you the space, and I will be returning upstairs. I would be amiss to mention that there is the lower levels of this tower where I have experiments and investigations ongoing, and I would request, as your host, that you also respect my privacy and do not venture below. Some things are sensitive.
Granted.
Of course.
Good night. And the good part, that part was fine. The idea of night was just like so lost out of his head. Then turns and walks up stairs to trapdoor, throws that open, steps upstairs and shuts it behind him.
Now hear me out.
Every time your thoughts begin with that, it's always interesting.
I would have never thought to snoop around. But now that he said don't do it, it's just I don't like people telling me what not to do.
Your ADHD is showing.
I think that's a bad idea.
I know.
Just because he has been very hospitable, and this is the only place to rest here.
And especially in this environment, I think the ritual of hospitality is important too.
I'm not gonna do anything.
I have a suggestion. There is a way to satisfy your curiosity without actually doing something.
No, it's fine.
Sure. Hear me out.
I'll just ask him when we come back.
That is a good idea. But if your curiosity can't be sated until then, you could enter your own Oneros and divine what answers you would find if you were to snoop. You would not be doing any snooping, and all the magic would be contained within your own arrows, but you would get some of the answers you find, or you seek to find.
If I knew what was down there, I wouldn't be curious. So I don't know that anything in here is going to tell me.
Well, it wouldn't be anything. You'd be casting a spell to find out what you find if you were to snoop.
That's a waste of time then.
He shrugs. Says,
I can just daydream about what's down there without having to go take a night. You know what I mean?
You say to Legba.
Yeah. He's like, could do it right now. You could cast it my own ears if you want.
I bet it's a storm.
Yep.
Wife.
Storm wife.
Yeah.
Like every nerd, we got robot women, we got monster girls. Every nerd is going to bust out the perfect lady or partner.
Yeah.
From your.
I'm just saying, 3,000 years is a long time to be lonely.
At some point, I think it stops just being a concern. But yes.
If you perform a Google search for the phrase Stormwife, the first thing you find is Ronan Keating.
Interesting.
Whose spouse is Storm Keating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just by coincidence, of course.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And, word association.
Okay.
What are y'all doing for the evening?
Go sleep.
I want a comfy bed made out of what we can't shoot the forces. A normal bed, I suppose.
I guess that's true. We actually have to pass it over to Craig. Craig, what kind of bed furniture do you make? Bedtime furniture.
You want it to be fluffy, right? Soft or whatever.
I would like something, comfortable.
But stone that cradles your body perfectly, like a hand is gripping every single surface in just the right way, not too much pressure.
I should be able to do this. So extend up from the ground just a rectangular sleeping platform. And then convert the top of it into I can't do flax or cotton.
Why not?
Because that's a biological thing.
Yeah, but you can do a synthetic. You can do a synthetic compound, and once it's dead,
yeah.
Once it's dead, it's no longer life. It's the purview of matter.
So I'll make a big, thick feather comforter, and a feather mattress on top of that. Just mold it out of the stone into that.
Yep.
That's comfortable enough.
This is lovely, thank you.
Do you need this? Would you like a stuffy?
I'm fine.
A pillow. I'm not mocking you. I want you to be comfortable.
This is perfect. Thank you.
I'll take one twice that comfy.
See, and all I was thinking
$3,001, Bob.
All I was thinking is obviously you do a quadruple stack hammock.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And just
there we go. How about a double-decker couch like in Lego Movie? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I can do clouds.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so you guys get, because it's narrative fluff. Actually, it's sleepy fluff. But yeah, you guys get settled in, and especially with, technically you do have to be careful of paradox because you're not dealing with forces, but you have time to carefully sculpt, and most of everything you're doing is shaping, maybe a little transubstantiation, and you do actually have the existing couch and stuff like that you could also rearrange into cushions and shrink, grow, make, this one cushion just huge. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, considering, especially, and I bring this up because it's Theo and Babasare, who likes to experiment with magic and probably hasn't had a lot of opportunity in a while to do so, other than in her lab.
Not since she was rampant.
Right. And so now having a chance to just like, let me kind of do all this stuff. So yeah, you guys settle up a comfy arrangement that you all can sleep in, change into, potentially underclothes and stuff like that, as Ralph put. Yeah, like I think most
Do you
of
want like a water feature? Just for some white noise to help you sleep, you're good?
No, I'm good.
That's true. I hadn't realized. But yeah, Theo is probably like, you are Pavloved because you have the river right over there. Like, yeah, that's true. Actually, probably most of you are probably used to hearing the river at least off in the distance. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah. But
I mean, I could just rig up a little fountain on the side that would just keep cycling.
If it will help you sleep, I don't need it.
Oh, I'm perfectly content with the silence of the earth. For me, I'll be good.
Spot
Deep
the
inside
Moros.
the mine, the tombs, its comfort, table. Nothing can get you deep in a hole.
And it's great to be like totally alone with your own thoughts from time to time.
Indeed.
That's
The only thing
not
to feel.
true.
That's a
Once you've
lie.
embraced them, once you've embraced them, keep you warm, either in rage or in comfort.
Thank
All right,
you.
we're gonna move along. So
And
yeah,
then for you and would just like lie down on the floor and then sink into it.
Yes.
Like there's some air holes and I think I
Naturally.
can set up like a little
just
pinwheel
get
at
a
our
little
feet to
cutout
blow
back.
air up
Yeah.
to the top. We still have fresh air coming in.
That's great. Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm just kind of like watching this happen and
You know
whatever,
what? Yeah.
snuggling up in my nice cozy feather bed.
I mean, if you I doubt that Theo and Baba Sarah would have the requisite understanding of biology or architecture necessarily to do this, but you could set up a series of small chimney pipes that narrow it the right way, like in a termite colony, and then the heat would just draw it out naturally. So, especially if we were underneath Petrichor and Max, because then their heat there
Would help.
would be
draw
warmer
out.
and it would draw it out. So the warm air would rise, and then the air from beneath in our
All right,
area
druids.
would come out. Yes.
You're not
People
wrong.
need to
Put
find
it in that
skyscrapers
first,
like
something
it.
to try
They need to
another
do.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Sure.
Yeah, just trying to move the
That's a
story
little-
along. It's always those two. I tell you.
Go ahead.
You're good. You're good. But it does sound like, at least for tonight's sleep, no sneaky excursions are planned. And as Ash put it, as Helena put it, yes, you guys have been flying for quite some time. Time to rest. Actually, because it is slightly relevant. Chris, does Petrichor dismiss the wing spell? Or is everybody learning to sleep? Okay, everybody's learning to sleep with wings, which I imagine for Helena is quite comfortable. It's like
They're
your own.
instinctive. Like that's part of your body. You understand how to do it.
Yeah, but it's the first time you're experiencing sleeping with wings, right? It's like,
Sure.
Yeah.
But you just go to lay down and you just naturally know how to curl your body and it's
Yeah.
fine.
Sleep on your stomach, fold them over your back.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you all pass through the doors of sleep, and sleep undisturbed. There is, you notice as things quiet down to just your breathing, soft little snoring, and this ever so distant sound of rumbling thunder beneath you, beneath the tiles and outside. Just that the distant thunderstorm is real back to Purgatory Bluff kind of vibes. Missing the river, but yeah. And then there is no sensation of the sun rising, but just more or less 8 hours, give or take, depending on your biological clocks. You wake, unconcerned, nothing. It really does feel like you laid down, gone to sleep, and woke back up a minute later, well rested. There is probably an upsetting lack of sense of time having progressed, right? The light outside is exactly as it was. Nothing has moved in the area around you. You have no sense of actually having slept for 8 hours, other than the fact that you are now well rested. For Cloak, Legba, I imagine it's like, oh yes, this feels much like clearing your mind, restoring that point of willpower just in a flash. But you definitely remember falling asleep, I imagine, because Legba is fairly active in his mind and with the astral.
Yeah.
Probably having a meeting with your
things
like,
happening.
why can't we do supernal summonings?
Yes. All right. So where are we on this, people? Huh? What have you done this week to investigate this? Huh?
In case anybody's wondering when Legba is pursuing that, it's while he's sleeping, obviously. Body's down for the count. I don't have to pay attention to it for about 8 hours. Cool. Back to the Anima, not the Anima Mundi. We are not heading out to the Anima Mundi regularly.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
To the Tibenos. But yes, you do wake, normally. You do not see Ahibahu up on that little loft area. The trapdoor above is still closed. So you have that, I don't know, maybe this is a me thing, but oh no, I'm at a sleepover and I woke up before the host. What do I do with myself? Especially as a kid. Like once I was an adult, it's like whatever. But like as a kid, I'm just gonna lay here in bed.
You're just gonna lay there and yeah.
On the plus side, you do actually hear the sounds of movement and some form of work outside of the large double doors. So something is happening out there. I will leave it kind of up to y'all to decide. Do you all wake at the same time? Is somebody an early riser and somebody sleeping in? Imagine, because a lot of you are old school Western, like it's 8 hours, we're early risers. You don't sleep in, right?
Yeah.
We get sufficient light exposure. So pineal glands are healthy, which means we can fall asleep for the right duration. We might even engage in biphasic sleep. So there's probably less artificial light out there. So waking up and turned in the rock. Be awake for a couple hours and then go back to sleep.
No.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, no,
No.
Nope. There's a claustrophobic guy in the stream. I'm gonna put the X card here and just let us. Sorry, I should not have invoked the X card as a joke. That was a bad move. But yes, we're we're not waking up encased in stone. No. But
I mean, when you can teleport away, what's wrong?
It's true.
You're safe. It's a game.
Yep. So what is y'all's plan for the morning?
Flying towards the thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
What thing?
Did he give any? What?
You have not asked.
Wherever we're going.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because his thing was like, while you were out, there are things I would ask you to do. But yeah, if you don't,
and if he has not asked us, that's kind of like a him problem,
right? Okay. Cool. Then that gives me a good spot to kind of set things up. Ahibahu, kind of eventually comes and finds you all, or you find him outside. He offers a similar breakfast as to your evening meal, though truthfully, you all actually feel quite full. As
I don't need any more storm gruel. Nope. Get it away from me, Ahibahu.
Well, and this is where, as Ash, had brought up, well, do you need to eat? Yeah, when you expend energy. So overnight,
we haven't really done.
You feel more or less as full as you were when you had slept.
Huh.
Yeah, so there is not that I ate at 6 p.m., I'm waking up at 8 a.m., and I feel like time has passed, and I'm ready to eat now. You all wake, and and again, this is that weird sense of time has not passed. Now, yes, I do know the body naturally burns some calories and stuff like that, but you do not
Burns
feel
a lot of them. It's also for regeneration of synapses in your brain.
Yep.
And storing glycogen in your liver,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yep.
in your muscles.
Yeah, and
Interesting.
Yeah, for somebody who were educated, there we go, in modern biology and stuff like that. Yes, this would be weird for the rest of you. Yeah, this is like I woke up and I do not appear to have been hungry, because this is more a meta explanation before anybody goes trying to like search into like what is actually happening. Did we actually sleep or anything like that?
No, I get what you're saying. What you're saying is that outside of a time restricted area, you're experiencing the full duration of sleep, and so as a consequence, the full experience of all the lengthy metabolic activity that happens when you sleep. Inside of here, you get the rest that occurs, but because there's no time, the rejuvenation happens instantaneously.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're also not going through all the biological processes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it is. And yeah, this and the Maelstrom is an emanation realm, right? So there's all sorts of broken rules here. But yes,
that's cool.
Cool, but like I said,
we're just sitting here with time and life being like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And this odd sensation, but it's like, okay, yeah, like did I sleep? I feel rested. I feel, but I'm not hungry. The time hasn't moved. So it is that, that weirdness that really kind of hits home that, oh yes, time is not happening here. Which I will more bluntly say also means that the idea of a time supernal being here is also kind of funky, right? So
I do want to ask him when he wants to do the summoning.
Yes.
That I agreed to do for him.
Mm-hmm. He smiles and he's like, well, I imagine unless you are absolutely tired when you return, that is something we could do tonight. Again,
on the way back.
Yeah, when you return, because per our agreement, you will report back. So I will see you at least one time before, unless something happens, and
yes.
makes a sign of like please not that, but
he wards against the evil eye.
Yes.
All right.
And then coming back to, as Chris mentioned, well, does he give you any direction? Do you ask him about like where a time being might be?
I thought I had.
I do not remember that. I could believe
because
I remember that you explained that was your goal, but not that you had asked, because that would have been one of those exchanges.
Yeah. Right. That's fair.
And I think to just kind of keep playing this up, he smiles. He's like, smart asking me now and not earlier when I would have to, had to answer, or you would have had to answer one of my questions in return. Martin. But he nods and he says, well, the entities of greatest power, and kind of motions down towards the tile out in the courtyard. Excuse me, not the tile, the storm clouds, are deeper within the realm. But that also takes you closer to the supernal itself. These are places that I am afraid to venture, because there is a pull, gravitation, if you will, using the high speech for it. You kind of hear that big rune almost in the air, that as one gets closer, it becomes difficult to fight against. And I fear that were I to get too close, I would not be able to escape. And I by myself would have no support, save for what spells I can bring, whereas the four of you can move more carefully and the supernal, high speech of the buddy system to prevent one another.
Teamwork.
To prevent one another from falling in. So you would and kind of motions to little stairs that lead up to the wall and dive.
Great.
If you were to head down there and catalog or keep track of the beings that you see there, and if what you can identify and report back, that would be of great help. And if capable and kind of looks at Legba, especially because of space, keep a good idea of the distance that you travel from here. That would also be of great help, because then I can replicate your travels.
I will give you a perfect memory of what I experience.
He nods and smiles. That would be fantastic.
Great. Petrichor is already moving towards the jump.
Cool. Any last minute comments, folks?
Tighten the straps.
Yep.
Bring it on.
Actually, I guess that's true. Because I imagine, Legba teleported everybody here, and you all probably brought our go bag of made shit. Do you guys leave anything here, or is everything coming with you?
I keep my stuff with me.
I figured as much. Okay, cool. And of course, before leaving, Theo quickly fixes the furniture. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, you dive and
Oh, actually, before Legba jumps off to Aibahu, who says, "I have one request. I hope it does not seem impertinent. In the event that we are in supreme danger and need to rapidly return here, it would aid me greatly if I could hold a small piece of this house for the duration of our trip away."
Of course. And quickly looks about the yard, right? And finds a bit of stone and just this kick and displaces a chunk of storm cloud and brings it over to you and hands it to you. It's
wonderful.
And for him, completely mundane, normal thing. But when you watch the little rockets causes off little lightning sparks and stuff like that, little claps of thunder. Yep, no big deal. Normal for him. He literally has a broom that he's using to sweep up cloud debris. Yeah.
It's like the little rocks you'd have as a kid that you could smash together and they'd make a big clack.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? No.
Yeah.
That was not a good description of it, but
No, I know what you're talking about.
that's the thing I have a vivid memory of.
Yeah.
I feel like
These
spheres.
little almost chalk looking spheres, but you could smash them together and they made sparks and thunder and stuff. Yeah.
I never had this thing.
Yeah.
We will educate you after this.
Anyways, I'm jumping off this castle.
Yeah, I imagine it's this 1, 2, 3. Can I get a get back home, please? Okay, thank you. Bye.
Exactly.
As you all dive and following
Petrichor does a backflip off of
it. Petrichor diving and how hard are you going? Is it we
Oh, it's just free fall and then put the wings out after a bit.
Gotcha. So yeah, the full 90-degree drop, and then eventually it's okay,
straight
this
up
feels,
base jumping.
Yeah. And this feels fast enough. So yeah, so you actually start off by jumping, and it's cloud flying by. There's a little sensation, as your wings are kind of tucked in behind you all, of the air vapor and stuff like that, and occasionally some of the solidified cloud. Legba, probably actually with your inward outward eye, have a little bit of a knack to this.
Cool.
Just having the ooh, that's a solid chunk. I can't actually see through it, and just kind of nudging yourself just a little bit. Nothing causes any damage. Most everything just kind of slides by or something like that. And through the cloud, and then coming out to another lasagna slice. And it opens up, and you get the real sensation of what Ahibahu was talking about, because down here we went from like, dogs and lizards to kaiju.
Yes.
So we went from things that are human size, maybe a little bit larger, to that's a Jin the size of a bus, right? There is
made sight to estimate the size, or to determine how is it above. Are any of them above size 25?
Quite a few.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is a legit Alphos great grandfather storm serpent dragon that every Japanese mythology goes, yep, there he is, there's the fucker. And down to the coloring of green scales, coruscating lightning coming off it. That is a legit dragon, straight out of the myth. Which is like, wow, that's
whispers into her gun.
Hmm?
Petrichor just whispers into her gun. It's like, you wish you could be that cool.
And then there is you get that absolute emotional vibe of raw envy. I was like, yes, yes, I do. And of course there's other straight up mythological beings.
If I thought he could fit in that gun, you'd be free in a second.
I would engage your granddaddy too. Put him in a pistol.
I put a spirit in here. Let's see what happens when I try and put a supernal being in here. It's only one active hubris. It'll be fine.
That's a good point. It's totally worth it.
Just the one time you do it. And then if you do lose wisdom, then you inure it, and you can do it again and again.
Exactly. See, that's the game.
Spells.
You can only inure spells, yes.
Yeah. Not axe themselves.
Not axe themselves, no. You cannot become inured to destroying a supernal.
You can be inured to putting it in a gun.
Yep.
You have to be a bit of a nerd to do it, though.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, moving on. But yes, and yes, we have, kaiju monstrous beings, but we have, and this, probably hits Helena the most. We have angels, and we have, as the internet loves to say, biblically accurate angels amongst
Enochian angels.
Yes, very, very things beyond description, things that are whispering, be not afraid. Hell yeah. Yes, and
Fantastic.
many and all of these things are enormous. Looking at them, you're like, I don't know what rank you are, but I would be surprised if you're rank 5. Right? The level of fundamental forces that you can kind of feel coming off of them. And some of them, from a meta perspective, are going to be similar to the Father of the New Death, wherein these are things that either no longer are or have yet to be. So, for instance, there is a legit Tyrannosaurus Rex kind of dinosaur, just
floating around,
calmly walking. And because we're kind of iffy on dinosaurs in this, 1857, but I will go ahead and tell you, the gravitational forces that allowed dinosaurs to do ridiculous things that we don't even realize that they could do. So Tyrannosaurus Rex, yeah, we contemplate that he moved at this kind of speed. No, way back then, no, he was hauling ass at 90 miles an hour and leaping tall buildings in a single bound. But this guy's back here now. Or potentially that's how it was before the Exarchs.
Oh, the Exarchs. Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Some of these things potentially may be bound. That is outside the the realm of our story. But yeah, some of these things that are just like, holy, what the fuck are you? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
the time before.
Yes, the time before. Thank you. That's the exact thing I was looking for. Base
The
jumping.
time before land.
I have nothing to throw at you.
We
but
see
yes.
a cute little Diplodocus and his friends running around.
Oh no.
No.
Who's gonna break it to him? No.
Yeah.
No.
So yes, base jumping through the clouds and immediately coming out and being like, wow, that's a lot of stuff. And the wings come out and we're like, okay, we're gonna stay up here. And kind of looking down and seeing these things moving, at least to start. But also as you've come down here, you also feel the tug that Ahibahu kind of warned you about. Up above, you were flapping your wings occasionally, doing a lot of kind of really casual glide. You could occasionally even find some wind that would, kind of give you a little elevation, a little bit of thermal. Those fire tornadoes were really kind of iffy, but getting kind of close to them made life a lot easier. Here, there is this drag, and you're just at that upper level of the lasagna layer. But can already feel this, like, it's not well, I guess it is the akin to flying and feeling a downward pressure, but this is, we're at 1.5 Gs. We'll put it that way, right? It's like, okay, this is significant. Like I feel
so this isn't drag so much as like gravity.
Yes, correct. This is dragging you down rather than aeronautical drag. Yes, so this is definitely a little bit, and you feel that, and probably the first time you're like, oh, let me just wait a wing beat just to see, and just a little bit of a drop down, and it's like, okay, that's 1.7. Like this is accelerating at a literal exponential level. So dipping down in there, you're gonna get dragged. Nobody else seems bothered by this. Supernal beings are like, yeah, that's whatever. And the layer even deeper, right? That top of the storms that you can see, where up above was, kind of this gray cloud, is this jet black cloud. And the only way you can tell it is cloud is you see the lightning and it lights up. And the lightning is this gorgeous, sparking and spreading, branching blue, and you watch one go off and it just zip for miles.
Oh, cool.
So like it's storm clouds cranked to 21.
Like action potentials in the brain.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Things just escalated up to, we'll say, mythical proportions, right?
If I had a nickel for every time Drew's given me a perfect situation for magically obsessed oblivion for my character, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it is weird that it's happened twice.
That's right.
I'll be, never mind. But if you haven't seen the Rookery, put your ears in. Yeah. One of those times was all you. Okay, you can take your ears out.
Take your ears out.
Yeah. For Legba, I'm sure this is one of those, okay, this is the stuff he's wanting memories of, because
totally.
You can see, but you kind of have the kind of soft flight, airborne, and at this point, we get into more or less the waiting game, or unless you all have another idea, to find something that looks like it belongs to time.
Time sight.
Sure.
Time supernal beings show up in time sight.
Yeah, so I actually kind of like the idea of like, ooh, look at all this shit. Okay, filter on, and all of a sudden, like, everything else kind of fades back, and you have these things that everything else is kind of grayscale, and now some of these things start to stand out. I really like that idea.
It's cool. Because it's intrinsically vibrant because we're in an emanation realm. So it's the reverse of the effect we get when we turn on mage sight when we're in the material. That's cool.
there's a couple time beings that you spot. A lot of them, well, everything is obviously tied to forces, but because I suddenly realized I don't remember because it's Moiray and anachronisms. Is it anachronisms? Yeah. Yeah. So Moiray are the ones tied to fate. But eventually, yes. There are these clockwork beings. And you kind of, in some cases you have to double check. It's like that's not an angel, right? Lots of more spinning parts. But yeah, there is, we'll say, not down to the cloud, but kind of midway down is a turning hourglass. And not like it's sitting and then occasionally being flipped over, but it appears to be in this nice, calm drift, we'll say, of spinning, and centripetal force is holding all the sand in the center of the hourglass. It basically hasn't started counting one direction or another, is the way it kind of looks, if you imagine, or even like an hourglass kind of held sideways almost. Well, no, because then it would sit on the bottom. Yeah, it's clumped in the center there as it's just spinning. That making sense? It makes sense in my head. I'm making sure it's translating to all y'all.
I guess
I know what you're saying.
With like counteracted gravity and stuff, it could be fine. Centripetal force would put it out to both ends if it was spinning fast enough.
That is absolutely true. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, flipped that. So yeah, it appears to be anti-centripetal force. Something that is pulling things in towards the center. Yes, thank you. As it spins, which especially as somebody who also has forces, you're like, that's not how that works, but apparently it does, right? But it is definitely a ways away. We would probably put that a half mile down. In reality, the distance is not far, but already you have seen what happens with gravity. Getting down there is going to be an effort. You have forces which can help a lot, but that's going to be,
can also change the direction.
And God help you if you find one of those gravity swapping spaces in here.
Meta-wise, is that the one?
Oh yeah, there are probably others that you could find, but this is the first one you spot that seems in that realm.
And it's not one of mine?
No, it is not.
I see. All right.
Yep. In fact, with your particular group makeup, you never would have been able to summon something like this. You do not have an acanthus.
Sure.
One of the reasons why Time Dog was like, well, I know.
Yeah, but like there's time beings of everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you could find,
like, it's not that we couldn't have found one that could do this.
Correct.
You, like, meta-wise, you wrote it to be like this.
Meta-wise, it has to be an anachronism. That's the goal for me. There was other ways you could have gone about this, but yeah, it would have to
Why
be.
Does it have to?
Similar to like how the different supernal beings have different boons that they can give. So like you can find an angel of time, right? Or a beast of time. Yeah. Same kind of thing.
Got it.
This is totally why Leg was super frustrated.
It's like it would be so much easier if I could just summon up one of these. Yeah.
Why can't you come? If I can talk to you when somebody else summons you, you clearly don't have a problem communicating with me. Oh yeah, look at that. Right.
Little baby.
And as the hourglass spins behind it, we see the threatening visage of a terrifyingly adorable feline meowing plaintively in the distance.
Yeah. So yes.
Right. I'm gonna scrutinize it from a distance to get its attention.
Do it.
Yeah. Okay. That's Okay.
I'm checking you out.
How long
There's
have I
me
been running this
checking you
game?
out.
And every now and then I'm like, cool, here's a good little challenge. And then somebody goes, here's this thing. And I'm like,
I mean, this is
Yep.
the equivalent of
Yep.
like walking into a crowded bar full of people that you don't sort of affiliate with and just being like, hey, you over there.
yeah.
So I understand
Yes.
reckless behavior.
Oh, yeah.
So you think about how reckless it is, and I'll roll some dice.
We shifting gears here. Okay. So yes, you begin your focused mage site. I will not ask you to roll because your point here is to draw it over. Actually, yeah, we'll have a roll.
I mean,
just so
yeah,
you
I
can
want to
get,
like,
yeah.
see
what
like maybe get an
happens.
idea of what I'm
Right,
what
exactly.
it
I was like,
represents.
oh yeah,
right?
yeah, because it's coming over. But yeah, let's give you a chance to do this. Oh wait, no, we don't have negatives for opacity. What am I kidding? Yeah. 4. All right. I'm going
4.
to give you a second here. Do you want to throw any mana on that?
I'll take a mana.
Okay, there we go. Make that an
Yeah,
exceptional success.
exceptional.
Yeah. So you clear the first door of 5.
Great.
Yeah. So I will go ahead and give you, yes, it is time 6, forces 5, and then a smattering of other stuff in the 4s and 3s range.
Great.
It is a atavism, or nope, not atavism, anachronism. And you don't get its name, right? But the sense that you have is the thing of broken time.
Cool.
Which, thank you for pointing out that centripetal force doesn't work that way. So that makes my name way
Even better.
way better. Because
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is the thing. Yeah. And so yeah, you get that kind of cool mage sight. For the other 3 of you, as you know, Petrichor is kind of leading out. You watch as Petrichor freezes mid flap, just absolutely frozen in time. And the hourglass that was over there is now there.
Yeah.
Like there is no intervening. It just is. And it continues spinning. And Petrichor appears frozen. I will give you all a chance to react or do anything, or just go, oh, I'm gonna sit back and watch what happens.
Well,
I mean, I want to like. Is she falling?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Just flapping. The game
I thought that
froze.
I'm not gonna interfere. I was gonna try to like catch her to make
Catch
sure
her,
that
right.
she, yeah.
Ralph, you're saying something?
Yeah, Legba, of course, with any supernal being, offers the requisite greetings and acknowledgement of their nature and an expression of a lack of hostility.
Sure. Yeah.
We are here. We acknowledge you. We await your hospitality. That kind of thing.
Sure, I like that. Hospitality. Yeah, you are in its home. Sure. Yes, I dig that. Craig? I know it's not death. I'm sorry.
Time is death, and death is time. 2 sides of the same coin, the leaden coin.
Going to echo what Linda has said.
Gotcha. I like the idea, and if you guys don't mind me, between telepathy and the fact that you both have fluent high speech, and let's be honest, the 2 of you think alike. I imagine this coming out in tandem, right?
Oh, great! Yes.
Excuse me, not in tandem, but one after the other. Where it's like you start to say something and boom, 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 and without missing a beat.
Oh, I love that. Yes, like hive mind. I start part of the sentence and she finishes the part.
That's what I was going to say. Not even finishing each other's sentences, right? Because that means you're thinking exactly the same.
Yeah, we're
so much as
the same
you
time,
said something, boom, boom, boom. You know, like, hi, we greet you. We are the cabal, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, this call and response. That's the word I was looking for, right? Boom, 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 boom. Helena flapping back like, you know, maybe I shouldn't have joined this cabal. Maybe.
That link to Legba. This might be freaking out our cabal mates.
I mean, for me, it's more that, like, I feel like whatever is going on here, Petrichor is engaged with it.
Right.
Mhm.
So I'm going to let that happen.
Sure. And I get, and the meta-wise, we have the being speaking in high speech, and it sounds like somebody playing a recording backwards, right? So you have that weird garbling sense, but it's absolutely understandable. Of course, high speech already has this glossalia kind of sensation, but it in tones. I really should have got like a cool little voice modifier thing, but more or less says, "I see you, I understand you. I will speak with this one." Meanwhile, Petrichor, frozen in
That's
time.
That's exactly what we wanted. Yeah.
Except you're not. You're flapping, and everything else is frozen in time. And the hourglass continues spinning. And for you begin focusing your mage sight. You're moving the mana back and forth, and it just flows over to you in like, not that it moves, but more like the atoms stream. So you have this like blur and seeing every little bit of it as it arrives over. Like watching motion at the atomic level, right? Everything moving. And then it, pauses.
Learning some new science here today.
Write this down. Jules will love this.
Crazy. And she just sort of like gestures around at everything frozen. She's like, "Thank you for making a space for us to talk in. I apologize for my intrusive greeting."
I love that. It nods. How does it nod? Yep.
You get it though.
Yep.
It spins in the right way.
Right. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's
a couple of grains of sand in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? We'll go there. Yes. So as it is spinning, the grains of sand make a face. Yep. Thank you, Chris.
Oh, fantastic.
It's full on the mummy.
Yes.
25th anniversary coming out. Wait, not 25th anniversary.
25th.
Jesus Christ, it is the 25th anniversary. Yep.
Yeah.
We're getting the gang together. We're gonna go. Okay, anyway, sorry. Yes. So the, whole hourglass continues to spin, but the glass and sand, they're in the center, make a face. That don't take this the wrong way. It reminds you of your mother, right? It seems you, but a little older, wiser, more mature. Not that it's your mother, and we have the big plot twist that your mother was a time supernal being. Notes. Next campaign. Your mother was a supernal being. Go. Anyways, but yes. So there is this, nod, and the face kind of appears, and speech would be better if you wish to contain your mind. Don't look too close. I have that effect on people.
Sure. I felt it was perhaps the safest, rather than either going down towards you or being loud enough for all around us to hear.
It seems to, like, in that moment, look around and recognize that there are other things in existence on this layer. And it goes, there are some things here that would be even worse to your corpus than I could be.
Yeah. Yeah, we kind of got that idea when we came down here.
You seek a boon.
I do.
Speak it.
I wish to have a period of time of a man's life reinstated.
And
At least insofar as the knowledge of it for us.
yeah, so because you want to know it, you don't necessarily want him to be back there or anything. Okay.
Right.
So it nods and says, "This is not a trivial matter. The time that you speak of is excised. It is in the abyss."
Ooh.
That, like, for Chris's purpose, is that a capital E excise?
Yeah.
As in a .7? Cool.
Exciting.
Whether or not
Hey, we need to bring.
I'm
Petrichor
assuming
recognizes that.
I'm assuming Archmage Rilla probably talked about some practices.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. So yeah, and especially since we are in high speech, that's not it's not a nice little way to say something's been cut out. It's like that's got some tone to it, ma'am. So we switch, and Petrichor is frozen, and the we'll call her Broken Time says your ally seeks a boon.
Yes.
Will you pay it?
Yes.
Will you all pay it?
Yes.
Yes.
Cut back to frozen, well, unfrozen, flying Petrichor. Your cabal mates trust you.
They would not have ventured here with me, did they not?
An interesting concept. It is not of me.
No.
No. They're willing to pay for your boon without knowing the cost.
That's crazy.
It is.
I mean, yeah. When the others just immediately jumped on him, I'm just like, okay,
I'm part
well,
of the cabal!
yeah, I guess
You know how
in,
Lake
but
thinks.
like, Jesus
Links in the
Christ, could you
chain.
have maybe not?
I feel bad for Helena. She's out there with those two who are
Figure out you just
who are on board.
to,
Yep.
but we're in this together.
Go ahead, Chris.
I suspect that if our cabal consisted or held court with a member of the path to which you belong, the realm to which you belong, then they might have been cautioned on these sorts of agreements.
Also true. Will you let them pay it?
May I ask what the cost is?
Time.
How much?
How long do you want restored?
How much was missing?
More or less 24 hours, 30 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like 2 days, I thought, but yeah.
Yeah. That's right. 2 days.
2 days? 48 hours?
Then I will need 48 years.
Excuse me?
It is in the abyss, and it is deep. I'm going to pause real quick. One, Chris is not solely responsible for what happens here, so this is not a Chris comment that is going to set things in motion. Secondly, we're A-okay with a negotiation. If you want 48 hours, you're going to get 48 years. If you want a smaller section of time, that's available. If you want to also like ask questions about that time, that may also be a pretty smart thing to do.
As if we seek the knowledge and not the time itself.
Yeah, there are. We have some wiggle room. Petrichor.
And should we understand that it's a ratio of hour to year?
Okay. So the things to note here: Petrichor is not able to communicate with y'all. Telepathy is obviously not working.
Of course.
Chris is going to be basically the one to negotiate and figure out what you want. Y'all as players are welcome to. On the outside, we may have some opportunities here to find alternate payment if you all can think of potential ways to pay the toll.
Yes.
But so you have, there's some wiggle room here. And like this is the we're gonna bargain with the Fae and be careful what you ask for, and the negotiations are open. But yeah, bust out your little accountant things, bust out the abacus, and you are welcome to try and figure out what you want to do. And at this point, I'll let you guys talk to Broken Time freely, but obviously we're having two conversations.
Cool. That makes sense.
And if I ask for a different boon?
What boon would you ask for?
The knowledge surrounding that time without getting the time back.
You want to know?
To find those that did it.
You want to know who excised the time. That is a smaller thing. If you do not want to know, or excuse me, if you do not want to restore the time itself. But I will only let you have one boon.
I understand. And if I ask for a section of that time?
Then I will ask for a section of 48 years.
See. Is that sum total or from each?
Broken Dreams. Nope, not Broken Dreams. Broken Times.
Broken Dreams.
Boulevard, yeah. Comes back to the three of you and says, do you all wish to share this burden equally?
Yes. No, actually, Legba says, I will pay as much as is required of me.
What is the burden?
At the moment, which, like, there is this little tweet, says, time, your time.
How much of it?
48 years. And then pauses. Maybe not. Which on your guys' end is just like sudden shift. That's when Petrichor asks the idea.
I mean, it's only 16 years apiece. Just
I'm bad at math. I was sitting here thinking 48 doesn't divide by 3. The more gay I've gotten, the worse I've gotten at math. It really is like that.
There's the video of I think it's two guys doing the tip.
We're never getting out of here.
So is it a sum, or is it from each?
Oh,
Because if it's
yeah,
from
sorry,
each,
yeah.
I should have brought less friends.
No, you may share the burden. Some are willing to bear a larger
May
burden.
I share the burden? I bet I could guess.
You wish to share the burden?
Leg was like, this is how you get to harsh mastery. It's a supernal trial. The trials make you who you are.
If it's possible to be part of the division, then yes. It is my trial and my endeavor that has brought them here. It's my burden to bear just as well.
Did you not bring them to share the burden?
I brought them to share the experience.
Broken Time turns to the three of you. No, it seems that you will not share this burden. They will bear it alone.
That's not what I said.
I know. Yeah.
That is not of her. And then Legba squints and says, he was about to get angry because remember how he had shared that story of a supernal who had deceived him?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
He says, I refuse to believe that she would do that. I am the one who feels the selfish desire to take on all of the burdens of those who aid me and befriend me.
She says she did not bring you to share a burden. She brought you to share experience. She would not burden you with this.
Legba says, we have gone through many trials together. Burdens come with experience.
I will say it may be her intention that she brought us along for the experience, but I'm speaking for myself. I came along to support and help.
So we jump over to Petrichor. Very well.
I hate that we're not able to talk to each other.
You may share the burden with them.
Very well. From where in our lives do we lose the time?
You can see it mulling things over. The time when you are interesting. So the time during which you were alive.
Way to go, Drew.
It's a supernal question. It's a valid one.
Yes, it is. That's so good.
I'm totally okay taking the 16 years after you begin to molder because that would be interesting to watch. We're not going to get off that easy.
No.
Not from this one.
Not from this one, no.
Yes, but from the end of our lives, as in we will have fewer years to be interesting, are we to skip past some interesting years from now? Are we to have removed some interesting years we've already done?
What do you care less about?
I care to not be deceived.
I will not deceive you. You will tell me what years you wish to give me.
Oh, we get to pick. But we also lose whatever happened to us during those years, right?
This 100%. This is a talk it out, ask questions, don't make any assumptions that you don't have to kind of thing.
I don't want to interrupt Chris if you were about to say something, but Legba has something. Legba didn't realize. Legba says, I have a question. You wish time from us in exchange for, I would like to assume, time. We are here to seek insight. Insight to be found in lost time. We're here for knowledge. Can we trade knowledge?
We are trading knowledge. Well, actually, no. I think it says we are already trading.
He nods.
That is the boon.
He says. More specifically, you wish for us to exchange or to sacrifice time to receive it in return. I believe we all feel differently about the nature of that exchange. Can we, therefore, exchange different parts of what is contained within time in order to satisfy
Potentially.
what you wish?
You will each pay in your own kind and way. I will not I will not ask for the exact same thing from all of you. I do not take from you. I will take what you give, so long as it is the correct sum. But at the end of the day, when we jump over, speaking with Petrichor, you decide your boon. And also, I saw your comment in Discord. It doesn't necessarily have to be a time skip. We just did one of those.
I know. I was teasing you. 48 years is like the perfect look. Come on.
I know where it ends up. Yeah.
Petrichor has things to do between now and then.
We all got stuff to do, but it's hilarious because it would put us almost exactly at the great refusal. We just skip right in.
Petrichor's got children to raise.
Yeah, it's all kinds of stuff we need to do.
Yeah.
And cities to raise.
Well, I mean, Village is pretty much grown.
Yeah, but missing the
Cities to
wedding.
raise. Great pun. There we go.
And I will take another little meta step back. Asking for the time being restored is obviously the great big ask that is intentionally supposed to make Petrichor go, ooh, I want to find something that costs a lot less or is a smaller thing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Do we need all of the time?
Absolutely not. And I think you all know that. You don't really need 48 hours.
Technically, we just need, if you could freeze it in time, right? 1 second of the view of somebody's face, the person who did the excision, if that's what we want, right? Like,
just to make sure we get as much, like, some specific context, probably an hour.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
A year?
Mm-hmm. Or 4 hours a year each.
That seems very doable.
If we get the 4 hours that are significant to what we're looking for.
I don't think it'll be that long. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And like
if we are discussing it collectively, like we don't actually want to see everything that happened. We want information. We wanted to see what happened so we could identify somebody because we're going to go investigate further. So we actually just need to know who we need to go after.
Yeah.
And 4 hours might be great, right? But just from my perspective, objectively, it's possible that it could be even a shorter span and that information would be available. I don't know because Drew's the only one who knows exactly what's going on there. I'm just saying it could be 1 second. It could require 10 seconds. It could require 10 hours until he appears, right? But if it's the one perfect second where his name is said or something and you see a face, right? That gives us the answer we want.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not advocating for a small amount.
Also,
I'm just saying that. Go ahead.
Only knowing the person that did the excision doesn't help us because we're not going to go fist fight our archmage. We need to have at least some. I mean, we're going to shoot guns at him. It's fine.
Yeah, I was just wondering, does the time return to him? Because I could see that being incredibly traumatic?
Oh, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
It would be.
Yeah, we've already established.
Or do we get the time in his memories?
That is a good thing for Petrichor to clarify, right? And how it is done.
Pretty sure that's what I. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was already.
I mean, can clarify it for sure, but that was like my intention with the ask was to not fully restore it, to burden him with it again.
And you
I
are
would
welcome,
ask for
because I know there's a little extra pressure on Chris. You are welcome to step to the out of character to clarify something.
No,
I'm okay. Okay, cool.
I'm good. I'm listening to what they're saying. Of the span of time I'm asking about, I would ask that if there is a section of 4 hours, if we could each give 1 year each, that would allow us to learn and address and investigate those who have committed such trespasses against human life. That I know that each of us would gladly pay in the name of justice.
So you get this kind of sensation of like you haven't agreed to a boon or anything.
Right.
The actually very acanthusy, right, pops out the scroll text, appearing on it. You wish to know of the 4 hours wherein Jeremiah suffered the most. To have that timeline restored out of the abyss.
If the time at which he suffered most is the most helpful for us to solve the mystery, then yes, that is what I am wishing for.
I can make that happen.
So, we will all y'all want to go from the end?
Well, and again, they get because it basically Locrin Time is waiting for you to say yes, that's what we want. Then we'll handle payment.
Okay.
You'll have a chance to come up to the credit card machine.
Yes.
Very well. So time resumes back to everybody moving together. Petrichor has this lurch. Everybody else has this lurch. And then the entity says, very well. What year do you wish to give to me? And starting with Petrichor.
My last. The ultimate. Not my previous, to be clear.
Very well. What year will you give me? Looking at, we'll go backwards. Helena.
I would give one that's already happened, if you would take it. If you find it interesting.
It makes no difference to me.
Okay. I'm going to give one of the early years I have as a mage. Because that seems It seems like an interesting gift if that's what it wants.
All of your lives, just meta-wise, all of your years are equally interesting.
Yeah, I'll give it like a time when I was a working arrow.
Cool. I will let you know, out of character Ash, that you have memories of that year, but it is like, you're like, oh yeah, I know the year, I'll give you, here you go. And you pass it off, and you can still think of those. You have the memories of them, but it is kind of that, like when you have a dream and you're floating around in third person, it's just, it feels you are disconnected from it.
It's not yours anymore.
Right. And it is a very like this mental dissonance. Like you can't even see from your eyes in those memories. You're not really there. And but the year happened. You interacted with these people. And I will let you know later. Because once I figured out what everybody gives up, any of the other effects that may happen. Looks to Baba Sarah. What year will you give me?
My first year.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you don't have any memories really, right? But you definitely feel like this detached sensation to the name Theodosia. You feel this detached sensation. The kind of warm memories that you had of like your mother are kind of little hazier, like you more or less met her later in life. Right? You still care about her. She's definitely your mother, but those like the bonding that, a mother and infant have feels, and it's yeah. It is, hang on, I don't care about my mother as much anymore, but yeah, so there's this mental rock. Well, to give you all a heads up, we're gonna have like a chunky little condition that I'm gonna write up for all of you of how this is kind of changing things. And then turns to Legba. What year will you give me?
Need it be one continuous year?
Yes.
Or would you like portions of multiple? He nods. He
Like
says,
this
I give you my.
Tuesday.
What'd you say?
It's like this Tuesday and then like June 1st.
Jews.
365 days doled out in hours.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like paying in quarters.
Right.
Yes, exactly. He says, I give you my 13th year. Is the year when I first learned that hurting people made me feel good. And that it made me feel that if I were to hurt others, I would be hurt less. It is the year when I began the pursuit of self-deception. It is the first year of many. So I would not give up the largest of those years, because that would also be a form of self-deception. I would give up the beginning.
The being, again, nods and says, very well. Payment is accepted. You have that sensation of this disconnect. We'll definitely talk about, because I feel like Legba's, I think, is going to be a lot easier. We're going to have some like strong aversion to violence now. So yeah, we'll have some fun, interesting stuff. That
sounds
are
good.
Not,
He's going down that path, you
right.
know.
Yeah, well, because I'm over here like, I was prepped for people being like, yep, this, year went into my first year, last year, those ones, yeah, or I will give you the year of sleep, or I was up for a lot of stuff. Either way, we're gonna have some fun conditions to carry on with. And perfect. cliffhanger time. Not really cliffhanger time. And as the last payment is accepted, the four of you all experience 4 hours of suffering in a raw, undiluted, actually, because Theodosia has played with perfected materials, perfected suffering.
Jesus.
You are in and viewing from Jeremiah's sight what appears to be you're in the inside of a clock or some other kind of clockwork mechanism that is enormous beyond vision. You can see ginormous pieces pinwheeling, and you can see through them, and these things are the size of mountains. You are not any place on Earth, right?
Yeah.
Giant gears turning, chunk, chunk, chunk. Jeremiah is there working, and what appears to be putting, is placing his hands on a large gear that seems unattached from the hole, and building it by pressing his hands to it. And you feel the suffering building and just self-hate and some of these memories that Babasera and Legba have seen of these things where he did things because he had to survive, or he didn't mean to cut the man's leg and have him bleed out, but it happened. And so, for Petrichor and Helena, these are new things, but that those sensations, so you get this almost doubled up sensation. You have the memory of the being Jeremiah, and then his memory that is building out this tooth of a cog, and it's building out and then continuing in this circle all by himself as all of these things move, chunk, chunk, all in different times. This is an absolute cacophony of gears turning and sounding, but all on the same beat. So, 4 cogs move, 1 cog moves, boom, on this set beat, by himself in what's the Mario had TikTok clock, I think is what it was. Just all these gears, everything moving, pendulum swinging, and then like at one point stopping for a second, this moment of not hating himself, and then there's a whip crack and you feel it strike across your back, and then back to it. There's not even a sensation of looking around to see where it came from, but as Jeremiah, your vision moves, there's nobody here. He is alone. So even eventually, as you're moving through the 4 hours, right, looking around as he's working on this giant gear, where that whip should have come from, there's nobody standing there. You as mages would recognize it's trivial for somebody to stand there invisibly, right?
They could also have whipped him without a whip.
Also
right?
true.
They could have lashed him.
Yep. I will go ahead and tell you, Jeremiah was like, that feels familiar. Yeah, there's a leather to that. Yeah. This continues for 3 hours. It is legitimately the 3 worst hours you have ever experienced. And then it gets worse because the gear suddenly moves and Jeremiah's leg is caught in the tooth and it drags and crushes.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yep. And yeah, tremendous pain, scream, agony, falling to the ground. And then all of a sudden, a clearing of his mind or his vision, as there are people suddenly looming. They're not crouched over to help him, right? They're looming over him, and the pain subsides suddenly, which is a jarring sensation. The wet feel of blood on his leg suddenly stops. There's sound of glossalia. You recognize as high speech but cannot understand because Jeremiah did not understand. And then his vision. Yeah, I know, Chris. I know.
I think I paid for this. Thank you.
But okay, I'll give you a gimme. He cannot die here. The sacred place cannot be tainted. Save him. Return him back to work when he recovers. And then a actually familiar sensation of teleportation as he is whisked away and is suddenly in the farm. Excuse me, not the farm, the plantation. Right. In one of the hovels. And there's one figure, and I will give you hang on. Did I actually write down description? Hold, please. Blah 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 blah. I did not. But it is a woman who leans over him and like doesn't have like some mage trappings, right? There's no robe or cloak or anything like that. But you guys recognize a mage when you see one. That look in the eyes and stuff like that is standing over him, and then with a disgusted expression wrapping the leg. And then you will not die, again in high speech. And then another figure, male, again, I will give you a description, laying a hand over Jeremiah's eyes. He will not remember. And then in 30-45 minutes of more or less Jeremiah being catatonic, you all looking out his eyes as others, some of the folks you have now rescued, right? Coming in, seeing him, and then one by one being told he was crushed by a cart. He was crushed by a cart. He was hit by a wagon. The various lies that never really added up. And then escorted away, and then left in the shade of the hovel, and then kind of coming to and screaming because his leg hurts, and then others running and checking on him and telling him, "Oh no, you're okay, yeah, you got hit. Oh, I can't believe you can't remember. You've been bandaged up." Somebody even daring to say the masters were so nice, patching you up, and so and then it ends. But yeah, so you have those 3 hours of suffering, which we will discuss. There's some stuff there, but it's a lot of clockwork and symbolism that you can see on gears. There's high speech in some of them that detail suffering, pain, agony, a lot of the things associated with the lie and the veil, things to distract you from upward thinking, we'll say. And then the four of you are flapping in the maelstrom lasagna, and that's where we'll pick things up next week.
Can I get in one statement before we? Mm-hmm. That was terrible, but and leaning into Composure 5. That reminded me a lot of the ritual we went through for Rilla. This could be a quintessence farm.
Yep. Yeah, you never. I was like, I'm not sure about that, but yeah, you didn't go to some place wacky, but yeah, you were definitely going through stages and steps to do a thing for someone. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. So Thanks
Those
for
mages
joining
will
us. Sorry, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Those mages will look much better with a bullet hole right here.
Or 5 or 6.
Yeah, I was just saying. Why stop with one?
Get every vital organ just to make sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Regenerate that, motherfucker.
Yes, Craig. Yeah.
True.
So yeah, thank you for joining us. I've been looking. I sound like a psychopath saying this, but I've been looking forward to this. Jeremiah's memory, that place.
That's rough, buddy.
Yeah. I think it was Ash who said they make suffering heroes. Like, you're almost right. So yeah. Thanks for joining us. If you want to come join us on Discord and talk about this episode,
Need to debrief among friends.
Yes. www.yeetinto.space. Come hang out on Discord, chat with us, hang out, tell us what you think about old episodes, new episodes. Join the community. We've got a great group here. If you want to support us monetarily, it's greatly appreciated, but absolutely not necessary. Swing by staylucky.club. The appropriate tier will give you access to our super secret cultist chat, where Craig talks about not wearing pants. He literally did that today, just to put it out there.
I hate pants so much.
I love them. Pants are great. Love sleeping in them.
They're terrible.
What? No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
that's
I usually.
okay.
I
No.
usually.
Drew gets cleared from the psychopath
I
chat. We're going
usually-
to focus on this.
Oh, we can talk about it. I usually do not sleep with clothes on, but I'm saying I enjoy the sensation of pants on my legs when I sleep. It is not a problem for me. I used to sleep with pants just because pants are nice. You got pockets, you put stuff in it. I don't get uncomfortable. I also don't move around when I sleep. I sleep like I'm in a crib.
Yeah.
So I don't have any problems with that. I'm not like squirming around. Sleep like a vampire.
I don't need pockets to hold my stuff when I'm asleep.
I don't know. You get up and you need a Leatherman. You got to fix a light. I have to do that. Happen sometimes. Come on now. Got my Leatherman right here.
Yep.
You'd be able to do stuff.
That's some dad shit for
Gotta
sure.
be prepared. Gotta be prepared. Somebody, you never got woken up in the middle of the night and there's something you need to fix in the house. It happens to me all the time.
A fire happens. That way you have your wallet and keys.
Exactly. I keep keys tied in my belt. I can jump out of the house. Somebody
You're
scares
talking
me.
about like comfy pants, right? You're not sleeping in some denim or something, right?
I'll sleep in jeans.
No.
Yeah, durable.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you all
work
for joining us.
pants.
We're
It's
going to have
great.
to take this off
Comfy
stream to
pants.
discuss
Yeah,
Ralph's
Soft
denim.
pants.
We
No
have to
way.
do an intervention.
Bye. Have a good one.